This simple change healed my body and my life so fast it actually feels almost illegal to share it, but I want to share it today because I think it's so important. That simple change is that I just changed terminology on how I connected with that divine infinite presence. I used to call it universe. I used to say universe, do this, but now I call it God. I call it infinite, divine. I connect it in that way. Why did that work to change my life? Why is it going to work to change your life? You don't have to do it, but this worked for me. If you like Spirituality Simplified, maybe consider subscribing. But when I changed from universe to God, everything started to shift. Why did I make that change? Well, there was an interesting point, right, where I think sometimes when you're ready, the teachers come to find you. But universe to me was something so far outside of myself. Universe had an infinite feeling to it, yes, but it felt like just space to me. It felt like, oh, universe means stars and the space, and there's this universe and it's outside of me and I'm going to bless it. The interesting thing is some people will say that about God. God is a man up in the sky. So it doesn't really matter if you change your terminology like this. You just need to connect with what you're saying. Divine, infinite healing presence, the life principle. But I started to listen to Joseph Murphy, Neville Goddard, and these great teachers. But you'll find that Joe Dispenza and Bruce Lipton and all these modern teachers, they're so scared to say the word God because they think that it's going to evoke religious tones that frighten people away. And they're trying to share their message with the masses. But I'm going to say to you guys, it doesn't really matter what you call it. But when I changed it to God, I felt a connection deeper than ever. Because I started to go to the Bible, not just as my Catholic upbringing, but as a spiritual text that deserves to be studied along with all the great spiritual texts. But when I started to look at it and listen to even wiser teachers than I started to realize God is an infinite presence that lives within me in all things. For it says, I am the Alpha and the Omega. If you ask for bread, I will not give you a stone. I love that one because then when I realized I wanted to claim for healing, I wanted to claim abundance, I wanted to claim good in my life, I realized that when I claim it, that is what I will get if I surrender to that infinite presence, if I surrender to God. So if you're on a healing journey and you've been claiming, universe, heal me now, maybe you're just not connecting with it deep enough as something inside of yourself. You see, God indwells you. We're told that within the Bible. As within, so without. As above, so below. The kingdom of heaven really is in our hearts and mind. You see, we can create heaven on earth, my friends. You can create peace and harmony in your bodies. You can heal your body when you connect with that divine presence. See, I love this idea where I would say, divine, the infinite intelligence within me that grew me from a cell. And that evokes such passion in me when I say these words. I really have come to understand that statement. And I wanted to come to understand God. But when I called it universe, all it made me really think about is The Secret, the law of attraction, and all these other things. But the law of attraction to me has been convoluted in about getting a Ferrari and getting, things outside of myself, which are all pleasant. But I had to realize that my healing and healing my life was never coming from this presence that draws it to me or attracts it to me. I had to become the person that I wanted to be to see it, to see the change. Now, don't get me wrong. Joe Dispenza says that perfectly when he says, change your personality and you change your personal reality. I love that. And he's saying it in a language that doesn't evoke too much intensity in people because he says, science is the language of mysticism nowadays. But I think that also can make us too knowledgeable, and actually sometimes ignorance is bliss. Sometimes I don't need to know about lengthening telomeres. Sometimes I don't need to know about all my energy centers and what they mean and what they do. But I can gently and effortlessly connect with God and its infinite presence. For it says, I am the Alpha and the Omega. I am the giver and the gift. That means that if I connect with God, not only do I get everything, I just get everything. I get connect with the entirety of this experience. I connect with everything and it loves me. And it says, come rest in me, all who are weary. That's why I started to have strength in it, because there was also reference to this presence. And I could start to understand that presence better than I can understand the universe. or better than I could understand adrenal glands. And you know what I'm saying? So I could connect with it on a much more emotional level and a much more spiritual level than all the scientific jargon. So when I start to think about healing from the quantum, it's cold, it's meaningless, it's lifeless to me. Now listen, don't come at me, guys, if this is a little bit out there for you. I'm not trying to put anything on you that makes you feel uncomfortable. But it's like I just could not connect with that. So when I changed to God, I started to connect with that loving presence, almost like the fatherly figure that lives within me and around me and surrounds me. And some just realize, right, when it's God, we've sometimes disconnected and said it's something that lives up in the clouds. Well, if you actually research into God, it's God indwells you. We are made in the likeness and image of God, meaning that we have God within us. Now, Neville Goddard would say it is your own wonderful human imagination. That's one way to connect with God. I truly believe that when we start to disconnect from the realities of life as being something that has any power over us, and we start to surrender that emotional, reactive part of ourselves, we truly find God. And what I've noticed about God and the way it talks with you, if you align to its nature, which is all around you, by the way, just look at nature itself. It flows, it's kind. The thing with nature is it never takes too much. It never gives too much, but also, it's bountiful. It's bountiful in nature. How many different species of spider are there? How many fruit rots in the tropics could actually have fed the whole world? There is so much out there, but also when you look at creatures who are aligned with nature, so you won't ever see a wolf terrorize a pack of deer and eat every single one of them in one sitting. They take what they need and then they're done. You see, there's always balance in nature. So I found finding balance in that idea of God as me being part of the whole. I found balance in me. And then what happens is you are blessed beyond your wildest dreams, because God constantly is the imagery of love. And actually, I have so much respect and love for Joe Dispenza. When he describes connecting to the infinite, he calls it divine love, or like infinite love. And there's an interesting thing there. That's what you have to decide. When I call it God, am I seeing something that loves me, or am I seeing a judgmental vengeance person who wants to have a go at me? So I'm trying to say to you, universe and everything was cold. Quantum field was cold to me, didn't connect with me. But I started to claim God's infinite intelligence within me that grew me from a cell, knows all the inner workings of my body. I'm revitalized and renewed at a cellular level. I'm healthy beyond measure. I trust in that intelligence completely. I'm divinely guided in all of my ways. I make wonderful choices for my health in every step. My infinite abundance flows to me in avalanches. I have wonderful, beautiful clients who get miracle healings through the divine presence of God that flows through every cell of their body. I'm revitalized, renewed in all areas of life. This is what I mean. This is how you connect with that infinite. Whereas in the past, I'd be like, the universe, I can't even speak with that freedom. I can't have that melody when I talk in that way because it just does not connect with me. So I would say to you, connect with that divine presence. How do you connect with it? I want you to comment down below. But I'm telling you, once I started to connect with God, I healed digestive issues, chronic pain, hair loss issues. My marriage was saved. My business has life is a blessing. My children's health, everything just started to come together as one. And you can do it too. But how do you connect with that infinite presence? How can you surrender to it? How can you trust in it completely? The first things first is learn to master your emotions. Align with life rather than trying to take from it, rather than trying to get, rather than trying to force. You just align with energy and then present yourself. You will be blessed in ways and health and other things like you've never been blessed before. I hope that's helpful, guys. I'll see you at the next one.